Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Johnny TCG video. I'm Johnny TCG. I'm happy to see you here today. And today we're going to be talking about Rob Lucci from OP07, a leader that some people love, some people hate. I think a lot of people, kind of including myself, are ready for him to go away. He just seems to never die, whether it's banning an NS Lobby, whether it's banning Gecko Moria. He just won't leave the meta. And yeah, some people find that annoying. I kind of do too, but I can't lie. I do think he is a fun deck to play. I do think that he is still surprisingly strong without Gecko Moria, and because of those things, I'm going to give you a Rob Lucci video, giving the people what they want. I was inspired to try out Rob Lucci after the ban, specifically because I saw some lists from Japan in the OP11 meta, running a lot of 10 cost Kuzans and the 5 cost 6000 power Monkey D. Garp from Starter Deck 6. This is definitely some spicy tech, and yeah, I just thought it was really interesting, so I wanted to give it a shot. Even though we're only in OP10, I know the meta will be different in both regions. So for example, the 10 cost Kuzan definitely works better in the OP11 meta than it does in the OP10 meta, but I have to say it's just such a fun card to play. It's definitely a win more card. This deck might not be most optimized for a regional or a treasure cup. It's just a really fun list to mess around with, and yeah, if you throw this on board and it sticks, you're gonna have a great time. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. In today's video, we're going to do a deck profile, then we're going to do a custom leader giveaway. If you're new to the channel, we do a giveaway in just about every video. Then we're going to go take this deck to the sim, see how it does, and then talk about it afterwards. With that, let's start the deck profile. For those that don't know, Rob Lucci is a 5000 power, 5 life leader, mono black from OP07. He's got the ability of when attacking, you trash the top 2 cards of your deck, and then give one of your opponent's characters a -1 cost. If this sounds underwhelming at first, you might not have played this game very long, because this ability is so good, especially since there are so many cards in black that can bring back cards from the trash. There used to be Gecko Moria, of course, the 8 cost boss monster that brings you back a 4 and a 2 cost. But now we're really rocking with Rebecca. And then there's Man Cherie, who we're not running in this deck list, but we'll talk about her afterwards. This deck has been a menace ever since it's been in the meta, and yeah, there's always people cooking up spice with him. Starting off, nothing too crazy. 4 of the EB01 3 cost 4000 power Brooks. This Brook, you know him, you love him, you hate him maybe. On play and when attacking, you get to give one of your opponent's characters -1 cost. Then you get to KO a 0 cost character. This is an amazing card. I love him at 4 just because he's so relevant, especially with a lot of small decks running around like Zoro and Bella Betty. He's an amazing counter to Zoro, and yeah, how can you hate Brook? Next, we've got 4 of the 4 cost 5000 power Laboon. This is also another EB01 card that activate main, you may rest him, then give one of your opponent's characters -4 cost. This is a great card, especially to play on the turn maybe after you played a Brook. Doing that combo, you're able to get rid of a 5 cost character, or even with your leader, you're able to get rid of a 6 cost character, which is great. With no Ice Age anymore, this is a great way to get a lot of cost minusing done with one card, I guess. I mean, of course it is for Dawn, but still a great card in my opinion. Next, we've got the 5 cost 5000 power T-Bone. It is a 2k counter, which is amazing and probably what it's mostly going to be used for, but in a pinch it can definitely help you out. On play, you get to KO one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less. That's what this deck's all about, so yeah, happy to include him in the deck. At the end of the day, he can just be a 2k for you. Next, we're running 3 of the 4 cost 5000 power Kuzan. This card is like one of the most debated cards in the game about how good it is in any given meta, just because if it can stick on the board, it's going to be amazing, but the question is, will he be able to stick on the board? He's got the on play of drawing a card, so that alone, you're going to get a card back once you play him from your hand, so even if he dies or gets bounced, hey, at least you got an extra card. Then he's got the when attacking of giving one of your opponent's characters -4 cost, -4 again like the Laboon. These are 2 sides of a coin where Laboon does not have that on play draw 1, but you can activate Laboon's ability right away, where Kuzan, you do get that plus of the drawing 1, but at the same time, you do have to wait a turn before you can get the cost minusing. Yeah, the 10 cost Kuzan, I know it's not the most practical card in the current meta, but with this deck, if you're able to get ahead of your opponent and just slam it down, you basically end the game. This deck for me has just been all about smaller bodies and just flooding the board really, and so if you already have a board full of smaller bodies that are KOing characters, like Monkey D. Garp, for example, or Brook, throwing down this Kuzan is just the icing on the cake to win you the game. For those that don't know, he's got the on-play ability of KOing a 0-cost character, and then he also has the ability of during your turn, give -5 to all of your opponent's characters, and so on play this is basically killing a 5-cost. Of course, with your leader ability and other characters on the field, you can often hit bigger than just a 5-cost. 2 of the 5-cost 6000 power Sabos, I'm not sure how popular this card is anymore, but if the trend of Lucci's increases, because people are starting to realize Lucci is still really good in the current meta, this might be a good card to include in your deck. He's a solid 5-cost 6000 power blocker with 1k counter, but then he also has the on-play of drawing 2, trashing 2, so you're doing a card cycle, which is nice, and then of course you get to prevent all of your characters from being KO'd until the start of your next turn. While decks like Blackbeard and sometimes Smoker do have ways to get around that ability, it's still good nonetheless, and yeah, I really like this card in this deck. Next up on the list, we have 3 of the 3-cost 3000 power 2k counter Bartolomeo blockers. Simply just a 2k counter blocker that we can bring back with Rebecca, which is nice. Nothing too much for me to say about this one, just a solid blocker to throw in the deck. Next, we're running 4 of the one-legged toy soldier, a 2-cost character with 2k counter, which we really like, and then of course it has the activate main of you may put him in your trash, then give -3 cost to one of your opponent's characters. In this current meta, a 2-cost body for -3 cost is actually pretty good value, and so I really like that, and the fact that he does have 2k counter is amazing as well. 4 of the 4-cost Rebecca from OPO5, definitely a card that I would not have been surprised if she got banned by now, but alas, she's not banned, so we'll keep using her. 1k of counter, which is nice. She's a blocker, of course, and then what we really like about her is that on-play effect. You get to draw a black card with the cost between 3 and 7 from the trash back into your hand. Then you get to play a cost 3 or less black character from your hand to the field as rested. This is perfect to combine with Brook, being able to establish a blocker, then also cheat out a body that can also KO one of your opponent's characters. That's super valuable. Then you can also cheat out Hina, which is amazing, which is a -4 cost. If you're watching this video, you probably don't need me to explain just how good Rebecca is. 4 Rob Lucci from OPO5 as well, 4 cost 6000 power. This card has been a menace ever since he's been introduced to the game. Just like the leader, Rob Lucci is just so annoying. 4 cost 6000 power. On play, you must return 3 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck. Then you get to KO a cost 2 or less character and a cost 1 or less character. This is just an amazing board clear that, combining with some of the other cards in your deck, like Kina, one-legged toy soldier, leader ability, you're going to be able to KO a ton of characters with this. This is one of the best KO cards in the game, and he's just an absolute beast. I love him and Rebecca both at 4 in this list. Next, we've got a card that I've been really liking a lot recently, and that's a 6 cost 6000 power Brook from OPO6. He's got 2 different abilities. You get to choose one on play. The first is that you put one of your opponent's cost 4 or less characters in their trash. This is the perfect way to get around abilities of your opponent's characters that can't be KO'd by effects. I'm looking at you, Jesus Burgess. Then we've got the second effect, which I don't really find too valuable or useful, but maybe that's just my style of play, and that is that you force your opponent to put 3 cards from their trash back to the bottom of their deck. Maybe against like a Rebecca, this might be really good, but I don't know. I haven't used this effect much. Next, we're running the 9 cost 9000 power Kaido from OPO8 as a 1 of. Now this could probably be a 2 or 3 of, and maybe taking out the 10 cost Kuzans, even though I love him. This Kaido is definitely much more realistic for the meta, I guess is the word I'd use, because his ability is an activate main and then also a trashing, and so for that reason he's just way better into the Blackbeard matchup, no doubt. His ability is activate main once per turn. If you played him this turn, you must trash 1 card from your hand, then your opponent trashes a card from their hand, and then you trash one of their 7 cost or less characters. Would love to see this be like an 8 or 9 cost, just because 7 sometimes does feel low, but we do have ways to lower the cost of our opponent's characters. This is specifically why leaving a Kuzan on the board, getting a Laboon on the board can be so destructive to your opponent, because then you're just going to be able to get rid of anything with this Kaido. But yeah, I mean, probably run him at 2 or 3, get rid of those Kuzans, but yeah, I'm just a silly guy. Next, we've got 4 of the 7 cost 8000 power Jack. This card gets +4 cost when he's on the field, so he's an 11 cost character. If you get him on curve, it's going to be so annoying for your opponent to deal with, especially if they're a black deck. If they are maybe a blue deck and they run Gum Gum Red Rock, they're going to be able to get rid of him ASAP. But if not, you're going to be in a really good spot. He has the ability of activate main. You may rest him and then draw 1, trash 1 from your hand. then KO a cost 3 or less character of your opponents, and then of course with your leader ability, this is a 4 cost every single turn. Crazy value. Jack's a beast. Next we're running one Hina, the 3 cost 5000 power character from starter deck 6. This should probably be a 2 of in this deck just because Hina has a ton of value. 3 cost 5000 power, on play give one of your opponent's characters -4 cost for the turn. This is an amazing card to combo with the Rebecca, where you're bringing out for 4 Dawn, a 4 cost blocker, and then also a 3 cost 5000 power body. That also gives -4 cost. That's amazing, ladies and gentlemen. 5 cost 6000 power Monkey D. Garp, also from starter deck 6. This card has been slept on for so long, but my eyes can now see just how strong he is, especially in this deck. I like him on curve. He's got the ability of activate main. You may trash one card from your hand and rest him, then you KO a cost 4 or less character. This is amazing on curve to get rid of whatever 4 cost character your opponent just played. I think especially in like a Doflamingo matchup, if they just played like a Weevil or a Boa, if you're on 5 Dawn, you throw this out there on curve, pop whatever they just played, and now they have a rested 5 cost 6000 power body to deal with, which if they want to get rid of it, they're going to have to invest some Dawn to swing into it, so that's huge. I was running him at 4 before and I brought him down to 3, but really I just love this card so much. It's just a fun deck, you know? A lot of times black decks might not seem fun, especially for the opponent, but with this deck I'm trying out some new cards and just having a lot of fun with it. I like him at 3, I like him at 4. Don't go to 2 just because he's so fun. You want to see this card, you know? Next we've got 6 King Pistol. This is your typical 0 cost 3000 power counter event requiring you to trash 1 card from your hand. It's got the trigger where you get to draw 1 card, then KO up to one of your opponent's cost 1 or less characters. That could be pretty relevant in certain situations, but I just kind of like it as a last resort need for countering or get some cards in my trash. And then last but not least, we do have Tempest Kick, a 1 cost event that allows you to draw a card. Then if you have 10 or more cards in the trash, which is why the leader ability is so important, you get to give one of your opponent's characters -3 for the turn. This is kind of your best bet when it comes to cost reduction, I guess, nowadays. And yeah, Tempest Kick is great. You get to draw a card, give -3 to one of your opponents. You're going to be saving this for later on in the game, and then it's just going to be so important to get that cost reduction and then draw cards as well, giving you more resources in hand to help stay alive. And that's the deck list, everybody. Before we get into the gameplay, of course, we have a giveaway. Today, we're going to be giving away a custom Blackbeard leader. That's right, folks. Unfortunately, I do not have a custom Rob Lucci leader, so we're going to be giving away a Blackbeard leader, which maybe some of you will appreciate. Hopefully, someone will. All you have to do to enter this giveaway is 1, leave a like, and 2, leave a comment. It's as simple as that. This is using art from the One Piece Treasure Cruise game. I am not the artist. I am not selling this. This is just a fun personal fan project of mine. If you want to win it, like, comment, and if you want to support the channel, if you want to help me out and make my day, consider hitting that subscribe button down below. It's free, it's easy. That's all you got to do, ladies and gentlemen. Hit that subscribe button, and with that being said, let's go into the gameplay. Our first matchup of the day is going to be against a green Bonnie from OP07. I gotta be honest, folks, I am pretty confident going into this matchup. Let me tell you, that is not a result of my own hubris. That is a result of playing many games as green Bonnie and just getting smacked around by Rob Lucci's. We're going to start off with a 5000 power swing into their life. I imagine they take this, and then we do have the Brook to KO their Jewelry Bonnie. As a Bonnie player, I do recommend searching with that Jewelry Bonnie character the turn you play it. There's not much point of leaving a Dawn up for leader ability on turn 2, just because most players will think ahead and not play anything until they swing with their leader. Now they're going to do a 6000 power swing. They did play another Jewelry Bonnie and draw a Bartolomeo blocker. That's good, but nothing too crazy there. Now we are at 5 Dawn. We have a couple of options. We're definitely going to get rid of this Jewelry Bonnie. It doesn't really matter whether we swing with Brook or leader. Either way, they will be able to rest one of them, and we'll also be able to pop this Bonnie either way, whether we get it via Brook or via Rob Lucci. We'll just swing 5000 into it. They'll rest our Brook, and that is perfectly fine with us. Now, I don't think we can really go wrong here. I'm leaning towards the Kuzan, but the 5 cost Garp wouldn't be bad either to establish. We're going to go with the Kuzan, though, because this sets up absolutely perfectly next turn, whether they play a Cavendish or a Smoker. Either one of those, we are definitely going to try to remove that, and I think we'll have a pretty good chance of removing it with both a Brook and a Kuzan on the board. And then, of course, we have Lucci's in our hand. We have the 5 cost Garp, which is amazing amazing in this matchup. They're going to swing into Brook, which we will counter out of, then play that 5-cost Smoker. We are absolutely going to remove this Smoker from the board this turn. We'll start with the 5,000 power swing from our Kuzan, giving -4 to the Smoker. They are going to rest the Brook. This is of course fine with us because we have other options in our hand to KO that Smoker. It really stinks for them the fact that the Smoker is getting removed instantly. In the Bonnie matchup, if your 5-cost character or whatever you really played on 5 and 6 Don gets removed the next turn, the following turns are just going to be so rough. Now I'm just going to swing, I'm thinking 7,000 here with Rob Lucci, or maybe just 5,000. I can also bring back a card using Rebecca if I want to play the 4-cost Rebecca and then cheat out another Brook instead. That's definitely a decent option, so I can really try to keep this Kuzan alive. If I can keep this Kuzan alive next turn, I'm still going to be sitting pretty. Now there is a chance that I do have a carrot and freeze the Kuzan. That would definitely feel bad, but I do think this was a decent play. I don't really have anything to do with the rest of my Don, so that was definitely maybe not the most smartly calculated play, but overall, I mean, this is just showing how strong this deck is. I mean, that was a simple 4-cost Rebecca Brook play, but combining that with 4-cost Kuzan is so good. They're going to start off their turn with the Jewelry Bonnie search. They will find the Cavendish from EBO1. We see the Cavendish hit the field. They get to restand 2 Don, and now they're going to swing 7,000 into our Kuzan. We are definitely going to block that with Rebecca, and now they pass it back to us. We are going to be able to remove this Cavendish so easily. I definitely should have swung into life there, but it doesn't really make too much of a difference. I'm definitely in control of this matchup right now, at least. We're going to swing 5,000 into the Jewelry Bonnie, but I should have just let Brook take care of that. We're going to give -4 to Cavendish, and now the question again is just how do we want to remove it? We've got our Rob Lucci's, we've got our Garp. We do have that 10-cost Kuzan, which we're leaning towards playing next turn, and if we do, we are going to be in a good spot. We're going to swing 4,000 with Brook just to pop the Cavendish, but again, I probably could have mathed this out a little bit better, giving a Don to Brook and swing for 5,000 instead. I'm debating on what 2 characters I want to play out this turn. I'm going to go Laboon and Rob Lucci and not use either of their effects, of course, which perfectly fine with me. We're just setting ourselves up very nicely for the next turn. They will take that 6,000 power swing. No trigger. We'll throw out the Laboon. We'll throw out the Lucci, not use Lucci's ability, and pass it back to them. They're going to be at 10 Don here, but they are actually just going to concede. I don't like including games where my opponent concedes early, but I just wanted to showcase how strong this deck is. Like, look at my board right now. Look at my hand. Even if they go with the 8-cost Useless Captain Kidd and a Tashigi or a Rosinante, I'm easily going to be able to deal with that. And yeah, I mean, they do have plenty of counter in hand, but I think this matchup was really just over. When your opponent has a board like mine, yeah, I mean, there's no point in playing that out unless you really want to grind and see if you can sneak a W, but in this situation I did not think they'd be able to, and of course neither did they. GG's, on to the next one. Next up we have a matchup against OPO1 Red Zoro. I think Lucci is favored in this matchup, but at the same time Red Zoro can be so aggressive, and so if you're not seeing your counter, if you're not seeing your blockers, you can just get run over so quickly. They're going to be on the even curve. They'll start out with a Nami, doing a Nami search. I wonder if this is the animal variant, and they do draw the OPO8 Chopper. They'll follow that up with another Nami searcher, starting off with 2 1-cost searchers. Yeah, that's probably a good feeling for them. They will draw another OPO8, the same exact chopper again, and pass it back to us. We'll start with a 5,000 power swing into their leader, giving -1 to one of their Namis, but that doesn't really make a difference. We're going to play down the 3-cost Brook and KO one of their Namis. Them leaving 1 Nami on the board or having 1 Nami on the board is still solid for them. Between leader ability, between Makino, whatever shenanigans they pull, that Nami can quickly become a valid swing. 6,000 now with their leader. I am thinking about taking this, or I'll just counter it with the T-Bone because I'll likely bring that back next turn. Then for 3 Don, they will play out that Tony Chopper. That Tony Chopper is so good in this deck. They're going to be able to cheat out another animal type character. They do have that 3-cost blocker chopper from EBO1. While that is a good chopper to cheat out, I think we're actually going to be able to deal with their board relatively easily. I think I sequence this a little bit. I'm going to start off with a 6,000 power swing into this rested chopper and then give its cost -1 just to ensure that they let it go or make them not feel like it's not worth countering out, because I'll be able to remove it through other means. But I should have given a Don to Brook instead of my leader, because now I'm going to swing Brook for 4,000 and give -1 to the other chopper so I can actually do a Lucci play. It's pretty early for a Lucci play, but I think in this circumstance it's definitely worth it. I definitely should have swung with Brook first into into that other chopper, and then if they countered that, swing 5,000 with my leader into that rested chopper. It doesn't really matter though. We're still in a pretty good spot. The Brook's rested, so it is vulnerable if they decide to swing into it, but otherwise, I like where we're at right now. Not a lot of cards in hand, and they have a ton of cards in hand, so that definitely scares me. Next turn will probably be a Rebecca Play, bringing back a 2K from trash, perhaps. They do have another Tony Chopper 3-drop from OP08. They're going to be able to cheat out another animal character. This is the theme when you play against Red Zoros nowadays, folks. They have another Tony Chopper. I believe that's the one from OP04. 3 Don left for them to work with. They're just going to throw it all on the leader, swing 8,000 at the Brook, and I absolutely cannot blame them for that. That seems like the right play to me. I'm letting the Brook go. They'll pass it back to me, and I will swing 6,000 into that rested Tony Chopper. Luckily, they give it to me. Don't want to leave that on the board. Now, I do have 7 Don to work with. I'm not exactly sure what the move is here. I would love to get rid of this Tony Chopper. I could do maybe another Rob Lucci play. Is that crazy? I'll swing 8,000 now with my leader into their leader, using leader ability to minus the cost of that other Tony Chopper by 2. And then I am going to do another Rob Lucci play. This is definitely different than what I would normally do. I normally wouldn't play out Rob Lucci so early, but I think in this matchup, it's all right. I won't really need my Tempest kicks to minus the cost of their characters. Most likely, at least. Maybe this is not the best thinking on my part, but I think it's pretty fair thinking. I don't even have Tempest kicks yet, but yeah, I don't think it's super important to fill my trash in this matchup. I just need to clear their characters as quickly and easily as possible. They're going to throw down the 5-cost starter deck 21 Monkey D. Luffy. That is so strong. They'll be able to clear one of my Rob Lucci's. They'll swing into my life, and I will take that just to get more cards. And then they do still have 3 Don up. They'll play down that Chopper blocker and pass it back to me. 9 Don for us to work with. I have a couple of different options here. I really want to get this 5-cost Luffy off of the board. I don't know necessarily what my best play is. I could Laboon Rebecca and then bring back a Brook to pop the Monkey D. Luffy. That doesn't seem like a bad idea. I could play the Jack here. The Jack establishing it would be very nice because I probably will be able to pop something every single turn. Now in this case, I'm not sure if it was the best, just because if I can't clear this 5-cost Luffy here, it's going to be able to put pressure on my Jack and potentially remove it next turn. I don't have a ton of counter in my hand, and so if this Jack gets removed, then maybe it was a little bit overkill. We're going to swing 8,000 now with our Rob Lucci into their Monkey D. Luffy. They are definitely going to counter out of that if they have the cards, of course, and they do. 5,000 now with our leader into their leader. This, yeah, I imagine they'd take that. If not, they do still have plenty of cards in their hand. I'll pass it back to them. 10 Don for them to work with, and I don't love that 7-cost Jack play on that turn. I definitely think I probably should have went wider. Now they throw down another 5-cost starter deck 21 Luffy, and they're just going to be able to apply so much pressure to us this turn. Giving the rested Don to their leader, they're going to clear my Rob Lucci rested, and then they're going to be able to probably clear this Jack, depending on how big they want to swing into it. They might just ignore it and pressure my life entirely, which I don't think is a crazy strategy either. Either way, though, I'm not loving that play. It's still kind of haunting me a bit. Now for 3 Don, they're going to play down a 3-cost Rush Zoro from OP01, swing 7,000 with their other Monkey D. Luffy, give a Don to their Zoro. They're going to be able to swing another 7,000. I took that first Monkey D. Luffy hit, now 7,000, and I do want to counter out of this. I'm thinking with the 2K, 1K, Laboon, and One-Legged Toy Soldier, they still have their leader swing, which feels really bad. I would love them to swing into my Jack so that I can easily counter out of that, but they will not and just pressure my life, which I have to take. Now, I do have 10 Don to work with. I really need to get these Luffys off the board. They are absolute menaces right now. I do have that Hina in my hand. This could make for a Rebecca Hina Lucci play. We haven't said those words in a while here. I am going to make a misplay here. In hindsight, I think I should have swung with leader maybe 6,000 into one of the Monkey D. Luffy's and minus the cost of Zoro by 1. Then I should have swung into a Monkey D. Luffy with Jack, assuming that they countered out of the first hit. Instead, I'm going to use Jack to pop the Zoro, and I don't think that's the right play because now I don't think I can pull off the Rebecca Hina Lucci to clear both of their Luffy's. I think I'm going to have to find another way. Maybe I go double Rebecca here and play out a Hina and a Brook and maybe only pop 1. That definitely feels a little bad. I misplayed that a little bit, but in hindsight, if they do not counter out of this, then it's all fine. But they will counter out at 7,000 swing to 1Ks though, so it is good to get cards out of their hand. I'll play down the Rebecca, bring back a Rob Lucci from the trash, play out a Hina minus the cost of a Luffy, and then I'll be able to play Rebecca again and then play out a Brook as well. This is going to actually be like a really good turn for us, but at the same time, I wish I really could have just cleared their entire board. Another Rebecca, bring back the T-Bone, I guess, bring back the 2K. I think that's the play here. I mean, a Rob Lucci or a Brook would have been nice too, but I think I got to go 2K in this matchup. We'll clear their Monkey D. Luffy, pass it back to them, 10 Don for them to work with. That Monkey D. Luffy still on the board, still causing trouble for us. I wish we removed it, but alas, it is what it is. We've got a full board now, which is very nice, and they're going to have to decide whether they want to pressure on our life or try to clear our board a bit. With the new Gum Gum Mole Gun, they're able to minus my Jack by 5,000 and then pop the Rebecca. They will probably try to clear the Jack this turn. I don't think I'm going to save it. Maybe I block with Rebecca, but depending on how much Don they leave up when they try to swing into it, I might just leave it go, as I assume they have other rushers in their hand. They'll start out with the Monkey D. Luffy swing into it, 7,000 after they give arrested Don to their leader, and there is no way I'm going to counter out of this. I also could block with Rebecca here, but I think I'd rather try to keep my Brook and Hina alive, as it will help me just put pressure on their board and life, and I think that's the move at least. Let me know in the comments down below if you disagree, if I should have struggled and fought to keep that Jack alive. I do not think it was worth it though. That event is very strong for 4 Don. They will have a rush card. It's the 4-cost Kidding Killer from EBO1. Man, this card used to give me nightmares in Red Purple Law. Give this video a like and a comment if you remember the RP Law days. That deck was an absolute menace. 8,000 now with Kidding Killer and a Hina. We'll block that with Rebecca. No harm, I think, in getting rid of these Rebeccas to keep my characters alive. I definitely am going to go for game next turn, and even if I don't, I do have 2 blockers in my hand, so that's good news for us. We will use our other Rebecca blocker there for their second Kidding Killer. Now 7,000 with their leader into Hina, and I actually should have just blocked and then gave him a 2K, but I forgot about that Sabo blocker. I'll just give him 2 2Ks in our hand. Doesn't matter though, I think we've got the game over here. 7,000 now with our Sabo, and they concede before we can even do it. GG's, on to the next one. Our next matchup is going to be against a Black Smoker, and I gotta say, I expect this to be one of the harder matchups for Rob Lucci, just because Smoker is another great black deck that can remove characters on curve, so I imagine this is going to be a little bit difficult, especially some of the cards like 2-cost Uta and 4-cost Laboon. They're going to be able to remove those relatively easily. That feels bad. Starting off, they are on the even curve. They're going to play down the brand new turn 1, draw the TCG from starter deck 19, which is a brutal card. We'll swing 6,000 with our leader on our 3-down play, and then play out the 2-cost Uta. If they remove the Uta, so be it. I'm just hoping to get them to, well, I'm hoping that it stays on the board, but if it doesn't, at least they use some of their resources to get rid of it. Hopefully, we'll see. For 4 Don, they're going to play down that 4-cost Borsellino from OPO2. That is not a blocker you see every day nowadays. Brings back memories. They're going to swing 5,000 with their leader, and I am definitely going to take this. We get a 5-cost 2K T-Bone. Nothing crazy there. They'll pass it back to us. Unfortunately, we're only at 5 Don, so we cannot play out this Brook to get rid of their Borsellino. That would have been so nice right now, but alas, we cannot. I'm thinking right now we establish the Laboon this turn, even though they'll be able to remove it next turn with the TCG. 6,000 now with our leader. We're going to swing. They could block it and counter, or they can just take this. I think it would make sense just for them to take it, but they will block. I imagine they'll counter out of this because there's no way they want to get rid of the Borsellino like that. They will give it an extra Helmeppo for the 1K counter, and then I'll pass it back to them. Only 5 cards in their hand right now, which is a pretty good sign for us. The name of the game when it comes to black matchups, at least I think, or at least that's what I want to say, is that just resources in hand. The more cards you have in hand, the more options you're going to have. It's as simple as that, ladies and gentlemen. We are definitely going to see that TCG here. I'd be very surprised if not. They are going to play down the 6-cost Sakazuki. That definitely catches me off guard, but hey, I mean, I don't hate the play. They're going to be able to get rid of my Laboon. They trash a Kuzan from hand, and then they'll swing with their Borsellino first. Actually, this catches me off guard. 5,000. We'll take that. We get the Kuzan, which is not very helpful here, and then 5,000 with their leader as well. We will 1K out of that. Now I am going to make what I think is probably maybe a misplay here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the Sakazuki using Brook. I think that Brook would have been better spent on this Borsellino, but we'll see. I'm swinging 6,000 into that Borsellino now, and if this Borsellino dies, then it's not really the biggest deal, but I am at 7 Don and could have established the Jack. Why establishing the Jack would have been so strong, even though I wouldn't have been able to get immediate value from it. The only thing I would have been able to pop would be the brand new, is because it's going to be so hard for them to remove the Jack using their KO abilities. After I played the Brook, I immediately realized just how easy it's going to be for them to remove it. They only have 3 cards in hand, so it is hypothetically possible that they don't actually have the means to remove it this turn, which would be really great, but I am not feeling optimistic about that. I really just wish I established that Jack and then used that Brook to pop their Borsellino. That Borsellino is going to prove to be a thorn in my side just because I can't get rid of it using effects. 8 Don for them to work with here. We might see the 8-cost Gecko, JK, bad joke, RIB Gecko. They will play down the 5-cost Smoker from starter deck 6. This catches me so off guard, but is going to go absolutely crazy in this matchup. Now I'm really mad that I used my Brook just because I want to get that 5-cost Smoker off the board for sure. They're going to give Don to their brand new, swing into my leader. I will take that and then swing with their leader into my leader. I will 2K out of this. We're going down in life cards, and this feels really bad. We're going to give them a 2K and then an extra 1K. That feels absolutely terrible. Misplays like that can cost you the game, folks, and I am kicking myself. I can't believe I did that. We do want to get rid of their characters on board, but we have no way to because we already used our Brook. This feels absolutely ridiculous. Maybe use the Tempest Kick just to draw more cards. I'm thinking maybe we do Rebecca and maybe try to block her up, but I know they're going to be able to remove some of my characters. I'm going to swing maybe 6,000 to the brand new just to clear it. I mean, this feels so bad. Yeah, folks, we're not in a good spot right now. We're going to clear the brand new. We're going to swing 6,000 now with the Brook into their life. Maybe they'll block and counter again, but they're still at 5 life. They should definitely be taking life cards now. But I shouldn't lecture them on how to play because they are definitely beating us right now. We're going to go with the Kuzan Rebecca play, drawing a card off Kuzan. Nothing too crazy there. And then off the Rebecca, I'm leaning towards maybe taking a 2K. I think a 2K is the move here. Either T-Bone or Bartolomeo. We could play out next turn if we really need it, but a 3-cost blocker is easily removed. We're going to play down the Uta Rested off the Rebecca. This is maybe just helpful for whatever they play this turn, as it's not going to really be helpful getting rid of their unKOable characters, Borsellino and Smoker. They will finally play out that starter deck Tashigi, minusing the cost of my Rebecca, and they'll be able to pop that, which is definitely annoying. They're going to be able to put a lot of pressure on our life here, and I think we're just cooked, ladies and gentlemen. I don't necessarily think I played that game terribly, or maybe I did. I did over-counter that one turn, and then I also played down that Brook to get rid of that Sakazuki. Not my best game, I guess, but yeah, you'll let me know in the comments down below. Did I really just play terribly this game, or should I cut myself some slack? They're going to be able to swing big with their Smoker. I did take that first hit from the leader, just because it didn't really matter too much. 11,000 now. I wish they were going for my board, but alas, they are not. And we have a decision to make. I don't know what I should do here. I can play out the Rebecca, but one blocker is not going to be enough. All they have to do is just kind of keep their characters standing up, and they will be fine next turn. Maybe if I had a Rebecca Sabo play, we'd be in a good spot. We'll see. Getting rid of the smoker would be a good idea too, but we also need to establish some other characters, and giving Don to our characters to get rid of that smoker, just I don't think that's going to work out for us. We're going to do a 5,000 swing with Kuzan into their life, hoping that they block with Borsellino, turning it sideways so we can try to clear it. They will not though. We'll swing 5,000 now with our leader. They countered out of that first 5,000 power swing. They will block free for Borsellino now. We can swing into the Borsellino with our Brook. We really got to hope this goes through. It might be our only hope. We do have that Sabo in the trash now. That Sabo we can bring back in combo with the Rebecca. I really like that idea, so maybe that's the route we go. I think I should have maybe swung 7,000 into the Borsellino. I'm going to use the Tempest Kick instead, just to give us an extra card for hopefully more counter. But maybe that proves to be the wrong move. Maybe I should have swung 7,000 into the Borsellino just to force them to have 2k worth of counter to keep it alive instead of 1k. We'll see if they have it. If they have it, then I think we just lose this game. They will not. That's huge for us. There is still hope, possibly, depending on what they have in their hand. We're going to go with the 4-cost Rebecca, bring back that Sabo, and then, yeah, I wish I could bring back the Sabo and the Brook, or I wish I just had a Brook in my hand to combo with the Rebecca to clear that Tashigi. If I am able to pull off that combo, I do think I might win. Maybe, I don't know. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but being able to get that Tashigi off the board and then have 2 un-KOable blockers would have been huge. Our Sabo cycle is absolutely terrible. We get 1k worth of counter with the Brook, and yeah, we're pretty much cooked here. Maybe, I don't know. They've got 4 life cards, only 2 cards in hand. I wish we had some more counter, though. It does feel bad. At this point, the Jack feels kind of like a dead card. The Lucci is not going to be super helpful while they have that 5-cost smoker out. And that Kaido could be helpful, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. They're going to throw a Dawn on their smoker and then swing 8,000 into our life. It's crazy the small amount of counter I have. I am able to counter out of this. If they have some way to pop my blockers, we're going to be in trouble. 8,000 now, and yeah, I guess it makes sense to counter out of it here, but if they have a way to get rid of my blockers, this is just a trap and I'm falling right for it. I don't really know what the right play is though. Let me know in the comments down below. I feel like I have to counter out of attack if I can afford it, and I can. Now they're going to give 2 Dawn to their leader, possibly even more, swing 7,000 at us. We have to block that too. If we didn't block that, if we had the counter, this might be a little bit of a different game. But alas, we do not. They're going to throw a bunch of Dawn on their Tashigi and then swing 9,000 into our life. We have to block that as well. If we did have another Rebecca Sabo combo, that would make things pretty interesting, but yeah, I mean, at this point, what are we going to do, folks? They have another Borsellino blocker, can't VKO'd, man. That Borsellino is an absolute menace to us. We're going to start off with a 6,000 power swing with our Brook into their Tashigi. If they counter out of this, I think they just win. Like, I don't think there's any way we can get around this. They are going to have the counter for that. Maybe I should have dropped the Kaido before we did that swing, just to try to get any counter out of their hand. We are going to trash the Rob Lucci, play down the Kaido. It doesn't really matter what I trash here using this Kaido. I think the game is just out of our reach. 3 cards in hand. They're going to have bodies to swing into us. They'll trash a card from hand. With 1 Dawn left up, I guess we just use the Tempest Kick to try to draw something, but even if we tried to clear the Tashigi by giving that Dawn to our leader and swing into it, they still would have just been able to swing right back into us with their leader for all their Dawn. This game's basically over. I'm going to hit them with the GG. You know you're down bad when you hit them with the GG while the game is still going on. They're going to throw a bunch of Dawn on the Tashigi, and that's all she wrote, folks. GG's. On to the next one. This is against a green-yellow Yamato. This should be an interesting match. For those that don't know, green-yellow Yamato has double attack, and then also once your opponent is at 3 life or less, you can give 2 rested down cards to one of your characters. I definitely thought this leader was going to be way more meta-relevant than they were at the beginning of their introduction in OP6. I wouldn't say this is an amazing starting hand, but we are going to keep it just because I do like the idea of us countering with T-Bone early and then playing out a Rebecca to not only block but bring that T-Bone back as well. I'm going to use a Tempest Kick on my turn 1 just to draw a card, and I think that was pretty big-brained of me just to say so myself. I do draw into a 2k T-Bone, which is absolutely huge. I'm going to be able to counter out of this first attack by only giving up 2 T-Bones, which I think is definitely the right play here. Instead of giving up T T-Bone and Laboon and Rebecca potentially. We're going to give up 2 T-Bones. We're going to be able to bring one of those back using our Rebecca this next turn. Very nice, very nice. We'll swing 5,000 at them. They will take that, and then we will play out the Rebecca as well, bringing back the T-Bone, of course, and then passing it back to them. We are in a pretty good spot. We don't have anything to cheat out with the Rebecca. If they swing big into us again, we will just block with Rebecca and then play a Rebecca likely next turn. If they play a body, we'll do our best to remove it. They are going to play down the Onami, then swing 8,000 banish with their leader. I think that was a little bit of a mistake just because I do have that blocker up. You probably want to save that Onami for when there's not a blocker up for me to use, but hey, what do I know? 7,000 now with our leader into them. We can give -1 to their Onami and maybe even pop it if we decide to play out a Brook as well. I think that's going to be the move here. We'll play out the Rebecca, bring back a T-Bone, and then play out the Brook, rested, pop the Onami. This Brook can potentially act as a pseudo blocker, or if not, it'll be a great way to remove some of their characters that they play, like the Kikunojo they just played right there as well. 8,000 at our life, and I'm leaning towards countering out of this, but next turn they might play a Hody, and therefore they could rest my Rebecca anyway. So we let the Rebecca go, and now we're at 8 Don. We're in a pretty good spot. I'm thinking we can just Laboon here, use Laboon's ability minus the cost. Kikunojo, then pop it with the Brook. We'll give 1 Don to Brook and then swing 5,000 into their life. I guess I really should have just swung 6,000 and then gave 2 Don to my leader to swing 7,000. Definitely not my best math moment. Now we're going to swing 8,000. They countered out of that first one, and I imagine they might counter out of this one. Going down to 1 life is a little bit scary. They are still not able to activate any triggers that require us to be at 3 life or less, which is huge for us. We've done an amazing job at protecting our life. They are going to play down another Onami, giving banish to their leader. They are just going to throw all of their Don on their leader, getting us down to 3 life. We got rid of a Kuzan and a Garp 5 cost, which really is not a big deal. I honestly could push for game here, but I don't really think I need to. I think I can play it a little bit slow. We'll start with a 5,000 power swing from our leader, giving -1 to the Onami. We can pop the Onami with this Brook swing. We'll just swing 5,000 with the Brook. I might play down the Kaido just to make them trash a card from hand. They will take that hit, and then they will use the trigger. Is there a trigger? Maybe there's not. There is a trigger, and they use the trigger to pop the Brook, and that's definitely a misplay or a misclick. And yeah, I mean, at this point, it didn't really matter. The game is over. I debate just throwing it all on my Laboon. That's definitely what I should have done. I'm definitely being a little bit too conservative here. That's just me being dramatic and overly cautious. We'll just swing 5,000, which, yeah, I mean, this is kind of stupid of me, but yeah, I'll throw down the Kaido 9-drop, trash a card from my hand, make them trash a card from their hand. I can't even trash any characters on the board because they don't have any. It didn't really matter, though. I mean, that Onami misclick is a little bit of a bummer. But at the end of the day, I feel like I was in pretty good command of this game. We'll pass it back to them. And yeah, I don't think there's any way we lose here, but who knows what kind of secret spice they're rocking with, and they'll just concede. Yeah, it's over. GG's. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the games I got for you today. What did you think about them? I really like this more low-to-the-ground Lucci list. It almost feels like losing Gecko is not a big deal at all. I cannot imagine how good this deck would be if Ice Age was still in the game. Man, I miss that card. But not really. If you made it this far in the video, shout out to you. You are a real one. Consider hitting that subscribe button. It means the world to me. We are almost at 2,000 subs, and that will be a really cool milestone. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, have a great rest of your day. If there's any of the leaders you want me to play, let me know in the comments down below. I am being torn apart by allergies, and I haven't had my coffee yet. So yeah, I gotta sign off. Peace. Subscribe.